So I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for almost my entire life at this point, but I really only started going to like locals at a regular interval was for the past 4 years or so. And 99.9% of the time I've gone to locals, it's for advanced format to play the modern game, because there wasn't really any alternate modern formats until Genesis very recently. But over the past couple months, I've been very slowly getting into Edison format in addition to the modern formats of Advanced and Genesis. And so I wanted to use this video to talk about maybe not Edison overall as a format, but rather my personal experience with the format, the deck that I play right now, and just sort of how I fit it into my overall Yu-Gi-Oh playing. Now, what exactly got me interested in playing Edison in the first place is a little bit complicated, but actually kind of ties back into like that era of the game itself. I remember getting a box of Gladiator's Assault when I was a kid for, I don't remember if it was Christmas or my birthday, but I remember just getting all of these Gladiator Beast cards and just like having just tons and tons and tons of these commons all lying around back then in the era. But obviously, given my age, I wasn't playing any competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! At that stage. But fast forward over a decade later, and I hear about Edison format, and I think to myself, you know, I already have all these Gladiator Beast cards from when I was a kid. I might as well just use the cards anyways. And so I slowly start to pick up some of the singles that I had been missing from later sets that I didn't have. But I really didn't start actively playing Edison until about a couple of months ago, when there's a couple of people from my OTS who have brought Edison decks to kind of play on the side, and so I decided to bring my Gladiator Beast deck and start upgrading the deck to kind of keep up with them as well. So at the locals that I go to, there's really about like 2 or 3 people that play Edison aside from me. But obviously we can't have like a sanctioned Time Wizard locals or anything like that because that format doesn't exist anymore. So what we end up doing instead is that we just kind of play it in between rounds of Advanced. So for me, what Edison does is it fills a very particular niche in my locals experience. That if you're just playing regular Advanced, then sometimes you might have a bunch of time in the round left, and so you're just kind of sitting there. I used to just like look at my phone, maybe I did trades. That since, you know, Advanced format can kind of be a little swingy sometimes and how long it takes, it can take maybe up to 50 minutes or maybe get 2-0'd and you have like half the clock still left. And so you kind of really are just kind of sitting around waiting for the next round to start. And so what Edison does is that since the games are much less complex and they are so much faster as a result, that means that I can kind of play them in between rounds, so I'm constantly still engaged with Yu-Gi-Oh! That you might not usually have enough time to play another game of Advanced when you're done early, but with Edison, I don't know, unless you have like less than 5 minutes left, you can at least like play out at least a game of Edison in my experience. So this really has transformed my locals experience into me being constantly feeling engaged with playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing the game as a result. So obviously the one and only deck I'm playing in this format is Gladiator Beast. And I actually kind of lucked out owning all those cards as a kid because I actually really like the Gladiator Beast playstyle as I've been slowly learning the format, adjusting to the pace of play, things like that. Having all of these very different, unique Gladiator monsters that can swap out with each other after each battle phase and you accrue advantage from each one of them in very different ways is a very cool playstyle in my opinion. And it's really a playstyle that really could have only existed in the slower, older Yu-Gi-Oh! Of this slow, rotating set of different gladiators that do different things for you based on what you need on that specific turn. I think it's really cool that, quote-unquote, in-engine, that you have so many different options of things that you can do. Stuff like destroying spells and traps, destroying monsters, walling up for defense and attack, banishing stuff out of the graveyard. Gyzaris is obviously a crazy card in this era, just being able to destroy 2 of anything. Heraklinos acting as a huge giant Omni-Negate. This deck also gets to play the really cute tech card of Elemental Hero Prisma as a way to kind of get around the limit of Bestiari, that you can just send Bestiari from deck to graveyard, have it act as a Gladiator Beast for multiple different purposes, mainly to get Bestiari into rotation when you go a quest to grab it back from graveyard. But you can also use it for Gyzaris, you can also use it with like a Test Tiger, shuffle it back into the deck. special out a different Glad Beast if you don't have any other Glad Beasts in hand. Probably one of my favorite cards in the deck is Test Tiger. You can special summon it out if you control another Gladiator Beast monster, and it tributes itself to shuffle it back into the deck and special out another Glad Beast and get its effect. It's crazy because the card is not a hard once per turn. So if you just like draw multiple of them, you can kind of wait until the right moment and you really start to push. Like just shuffle something back into the deck, special it, and then just accrue crazy amounts of resources in a single individual turn. Gladiator Beast War Chariot is another huge reason why you play this deck, that you just have like a counter trap that is in engine that you could recur with a quest on a regular basis, that you could stop huge Monarch plays and stuff if you have a Glad Beast up. Just insane. Now, like I said earlier, I'm a very casual Edison player. This deck list isn't super optimized or anything like that. I'm not even playing like a flat 40. I'm playing like 42 or 43 or something like that. Now, as I've been playing this deck more and more, and I've been playing more and more Edison, I'm really growing to like the format way more. I just thought that I would just kind of ad infinitum, just keep playing Gladiator Beasts, and not really have any interest in playing any other deck. But, you know, I'm actually really into sort of the gameplay loop of the format, and I'm like actually catching myself looking at like quick draw Dandy Warrior lists to like start building that deck as well. I'm interested enough that maybe in the future I'd like to even go to like an Edison Locals if I could find one in my area. Maybe not as like a regular thing that I would go to, but just at least once to be curious, see what other decks are out there, and just to kind of like experience the format a little more. Now, part of the reason why I even wanted to share this experience with you guys and make even a video on it is because I was able to find a way to incorporate retro Yu-Gi-Oh into the way that I play the game that makes sense. Because I feel like a lot with retro Yu-Gi-Oh, it's kind of awkward to kind of get into. If you're making it more like a casual person, it's kind of hard to fit it into your life. Like, Konami doesn't have Time Wizard events anymore, so there's not really as many places that you can play it. There's like the online scene, but that can kind of have its own weirdness. And so I at least personally found a way via playing it in between rounds with like a regular play group that I could personally incorporate it into my life. And maybe just kind of encourage some people to maybe try that. Maybe get some of their friends to maybe try Edison format if they're just kind of sitting around waiting for their next advanced round or something. Now, I will admit that I obviously don't think that this approach will be a perfect fit for everybody, and it really only works for my specific play group and my specific OTS. That I imagine that if you're somebody that's in a bit of a more rural location, you have Yu-Gi-Oh locals, but you don't have people that are as like hardcore as like an OTS store attendance or something like that, then getting them into Edison to play in between rounds is gonna be like a bit more of an uphill battle. But I'm hoping this video maybe sparks some ideas in your head of different ways that you can maybe enter retro Yu-Gi-Oh into your life. So anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Did you like hearing me talk about a little bit about Edison format? Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Comment down below. Do you like Edison format? What decks do you play? What do you think about my Edison journey personally? Hit up my Patreon down in the description. Give me some of that cash money. Incentivize me to make these videos even better than before. So anyways, guys, that's it. And have a good day.